Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. We've got a packed house today, and today I'll be talking about some of the damage Iran has caused to the GCC. I'm going to use a source given by one of my good listeners of the show, Daniela. So thank you, Daniela. I'm going to be talking more about this puppet here, Andy Burnham. I'll be talking about Smotrich, who basically thinks all the goys should be fighting wars on behalf of Israel while they sit back and do nothing and just watch. I'll be talking about some more attacks at the Hormuz, as well as Ansar Allah attacking ships at their own strait, which is close to the Red Sea. I'll be talking about Congress voting for the NDAA. What does it mean? I'll be talking about Kuwaitis now rising up against their government. Obviously, it's not that many, but it's a start. I'll be talking about United States stealing 13 billion of Venezuela's money and oil. I'll be talking about Donald Trump's latest tweets. I'll be talking about this particular story where United States apparently agreed to a deal with Saudi Arabia to enrich more uranium. So we'll talk about that. And that's it, guys. Make sure you check out part 2. I'm going to be talking about Chinese AI on the part 2 of this video. That's going to be on my new channel. So the links are on my description. So make sure you check that out. Let's start with the show. So what you see on the image of this video, you see a radar station being absolutely destroyed in Ahmad al-Jaber Air Base in Kuwait. And the big round thing is a radar, and that is worth hundreds of millions, if not $500 million. I know for a fact that some of these radars in Qatar, for example, cost over 1.1 billion. So they're not cheap, guys. And to replace these radars takes decades. You need all the raw materials, and it takes a lot of time and labor to produce these radars, because these are state-of-the-art radars. You know, you can monitor drones and missiles and airplanes hundreds and hundreds of miles, even thousands of miles away. And these radars have been placed all across the GCC for one role and one role only, is to protect Israel. So whenever missiles come from Iran, they get spotted by these missiles early. So it allows Iran to basically protect itself. It gives more time for other countries, for example, United States, Britain, European countries, to send their planes out and to stop any incoming missiles or drones. And that's what they do. Whenever missiles come from Iran, these Gulf states are like puppet states. They let Israel know that there's missiles coming their way, and it gives Israel plenty of time to prepare. And you have puppet states like Jordan also shoot down missiles, because that's happened many times as well. They shoot down Iranian missiles over their territory, because you've got to fly over Jordan sometimes to hit Israel. So these radars are not there to protect the Gulf countries, because these Gulf countries, especially Kuwait and Bahrain, are not far enough from Iran. So whenever Iran fires a missile, they do not have much time to react. And as you know, most of these Gulf countries, they don't have that many Patriots or THAAD missiles to protect them. In fact, they hardly have any missiles to protect them at all. Most of it has been sent to Israel to protect Israel. So these countries, Gulf countries, are just target practice, really. The United States uses as human shields to protect Israel. And the leaders for these Gulf countries are going along with it, like the puppets that they are. It's very disgraceful if you think about it. And not only that, these Gulf countries are also protecting the United States military as well. The military don't even live in the bases which get attacked by Iran. They live in hotels, posh hotels, 5-star hotels, all across the Gulf. They use Arabs as human shields. So if Iran wanted to attack these hotels that these soldiers are staying at, they would be accused of hitting civilian, sites. But if there's military living in those, hotels, it should be a legitimate target. So it's the Arabs or the corrupt Arabs who are protecting the Americans, not the other way around. Americans are not protecting the Arabs. They're protecting Israel. So going back to these radars, I think what Iran is doing is perfect, because they are looking at the long-term goal here. If you take out all of these radars in the GCC countries, and if you take out all of their ability to stop an Iranian missile or drones, then what does this mean? It means that Israel will not be getting the same time to prepare as they did last time. They'll probably find out in the last minute when Iranian missiles are coming their way. So if this war with Israel starts again, Israel will probably be in a worse position compared to a year ago. A year ago, don't forget, all of these Gulf countries had all the radars installations active. They were checking all of the Iranian missiles going towards Israel at the time, and they had plenty of time to take them down. And British jets, American jets, European jets were taking them down one after the other. And it was a good test for Iran. They could see how they take down their missiles, and Iran has been learning. So the new strategy has been to take down radars, which gives them less time to react, and also to overcome the missile defenses. So they'll send 1 or 2 missiles, and these Gulf countries will fire like 10 Patriot missiles just to take down one missile. Or to take down a drone, they'll fire 10 Patriot missiles. Because, each of these Patriot missiles are very expensive, costing like $1 million, $2 million each, maybe more. And how much are these drones? Maximum $20,000 sent by Iran. So in the war of economy, Iran always wins because they managed to take out more expensive anti-aircraft missiles and Patriot missiles. It gets worse when Americans have to use THAAD missiles, and these THAAD missiles are more nearer to Israel. They even had to bring in THAAD missiles from South Korea and take them all the way to Israel. So South Korea is completely defenseless. They've not got any THAAD missiles protecting them now. They've all been moved to protect Israel. It just shows who America thinks is their number one priority. So let's talk about another puppet, shall we? This time he's not Arab, he's British. So this guy, his first job within days of coming into office is to allow United States to use British bases to attack Iran. That was his first job. Tick in the box. So you see, this guy is only there to support the establishment, to support the industrial complex. He's not there to help the people of Britain. He's there to do a job for the bankers, for the military industrial complex, for United States. And this is his job as a puppet. And this is why they got rid of Starmer, because Starmer didn't allow full use of these bases to Iran, but this guy has. This is why they got rid of him and put this bigger puppet instead. The British people have been kept in the dark and kept stupid for a long time. They give them a diet of football. They keep them stupid by, making them watch football. Making them watch daytime television, which is it's just real low IQ. There's nothing educational about daytime television. They give them a diet of all these trash TV reality shows like Love Island and Keeping Up with the Kardashians. All this trash TV they feed the British public. And don't forget all of the social media, all the TikTok, Instagram that they are fed every single day of girls shaking their booties. How is that going to increase your IQ, watching girls shaking their booties on TikTok? And yeah, people do that all day, go through TikTok and watching all these useless videos. Not only that, they feed, British people lots of junk, fast food and junk everywhere. They allow people to take drugs. British people are just all addicted to something. Either drugs or drinking or PORN or gambling or football, whatever. They're all addicted to something. Cigarettes, vapes. That's how they keep the British people stupid. That's why British people will never rise up, will never question anything. They all think they're in a democracy. Was this guy voted in? No. Even if British people have to vote, they're just going to get the same people in. You don't really get a choice. British people are being kept. It's not just British people. It's just democracies throughout the world, guys. It's happening to United States. Happens to most of Europe. You think you've got a democracy. You think you've got a choice with two parties, but both parties are the same. They're run by the same establishment. The real people are the people behind the scenes pulling the strings. The people with money and power. We know who they are. Anyway, let's move on. Talking about so-called people with power, the chosen ones, the finance minister, Smotrich, he just reminds all the guys that, Israel started this war, got Trump to attack Iran. Now Israel is basically, sitting by the sidelines, sunbathing, watching the Americans and the Iranians fight it out, even though they started the war between them. So Smotrich says basically, this is the situation, it's the best possible scenario for Israel, because Israel's enemies are fighting each other. So for them it's great. Americans and Iranians dying for Israel. Well, Americans are dying for Israel, but I'm not talking about the Iranians. Iranians are still dying because America's dropping bombs on them. It's crazy how, how brainwashed most of these Americans are. They don't realize that they are fighting and dying for Israel. They just don't realize. Complete brainwash. If you thought British people are brainwashed, Americans are 10 times more. So this NDAA thing has passed in Congress today. So what's NDAA? It's basically merging the Israeli military with the United States military. Now they will be sharing intelligence, they will be sharing weapon technologies. They'll be using America's military to fight Israel's wars. So it's bad news for America by the looks of it. This is going to end up really bad, guys. Really bad. This is what happens if you give away your Congress to AIPAC. AIPAC totally controls all of them and controls all of their votes. Every single vote is a pro-Israeli vote. What if one of these days Israel decides to turn on the Americans? They will use that military to destroy Americans in America. A lot of people are predicting this in the future. Say, for instance, there's a massive economic crash in the next few years, and it could happen. I mean, Trump is accelerating this economic crash with what he's doing in the Hormuz Strait. So to say there's a massive economic crash and there's massive hyperinflation in the United States. People are rioting everywhere. There's violence everywhere. So what do? They will use Palantir AI tech to pick people out from the crowd and start throwing missiles at them. That's what they're going to do, guys. They're going to treat United States like they've treated Gaza. Believe me, it will come one of these days. Anyway, let's move on. So the other thing that's happened is they voted for a 1.5 trillion for the military. 1.5 trillion, guys. That's a 50% increase from last year. Where are they going to get the money from? I mean, look at Doge. Has Doge saved United States any money? No. Not even a little bit. The only programs Doge has shut down are the good ones. The only good programs that, USAID had, like to help the poor and needy in these poor countries, those are the ones that got shut down. But all of the corrupt stuff in USAID, all the corrupt stuff and all the stuff they use to topple governments, all the stuff that is full of corruption, all of that is still there. They only shut the good stuff down. Do you think they will allow Elon Musk to shut down the corrupt stuff in USAID, which they use to take down governments in other countries? Of course, they will never allow Elon Musk to shut that down. Never. Because this is part of America's policy to push for color revolutions and destroy governments they don't like and push for regime change, for countries they don't like. This has always been part of America's foreign policy. They will never allow Elon Musk to shut any of that down. He just shut down all of the good charities that USAID used to do. All of them, all the good ones. And they just allowed it to happen. Because they thought, you know what, if Elon Musk shuts these charities down, who cares? Who cares about these charities? Let him do it. But when Elon Musk comes knocking for the real corrupt stuff in USAID, they were like, no, you can't come near us. You can't touch this. We need this. But Doge just saved nothing, guys. Nothing. So they're going to have to print all of this money. It's... How much is it? It was around 800... It was around 800 billion around few years ago. Now it's going to go to 1.5 trillion. That's 800 billion they have to come up with. Imagine what they could have done with that kind of money in the United States. They could have rebuilt all of the infrastructure in the United States. Have a new, subway system in, New York. They could have had high-speed rail everywhere. They could have had free healthcare for everyone. They would have had no homeless people. They could have had a brand new grid which allows them to have a lot more AI, power. They could have done so much with that kind of money, but no, they have to waste it on guns and missiles and weapons, corruption, the industrial complex. It's absolutely crazy, guys. Absolutely crazy. So a group of Kuwaitis, you can see they are starting protests in Kuwait against the government. I mean, there's not many of them, but it's still a start end of the day. And this is going round, and other Kuwaitis will see this and they will join in, hopefully. So it's already starting. We're seeing lots of these small riots happening in Bahrain as well. And even in Saudi Arabia. Very small pockets here and there rising up. And it will happen more often, guys, because if you think about it, lots of these Gulf countries, they pay their citizens to keep quiet, like Saudi Arabia and many other Gulf countries. They pay their citizens to keep quiet, and they pay them because they get lots of money from the oil revenues. So what do you think will happen when these oil revenues run out? Especially Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia can't sell oil anymore because the two channels has been blocked. The Strait of Hormuz is blocked, and now the Bab el-Mandeb is blocked as well by Ansar Allah, the Yemenis. So Saudi's in some major trouble here. If they cannot pay their residents, you're going to see lots of people rise up. Talking about oil money, the United States has stolen 13 billion of Venezuela's oil money. 13 billion. Imagine what 13 billions would have bought Venezuela. That's a lot of money for Venezuelans. A lot of money. It's a small change for United States, but it's a lot of money for Venezuelan. I can't believe the Venezuelans gave up their country with not even a single fight. All it takes is for them to kidnap a leader and he's finished. I can't believe it, guys. I bet that Hugo Chavez has been turning in his grave when he found this out. Hugo Chavez has spent years and years to avoid this from happening, for United States to steal their wealth. He spent years fighting them. And now United States come in, steal the leader, Maduro, and everybody else gives up. This is your oil you're fighting for, guys. This is your resources. This is your livelihoods, your children's livelihoods. You're just going to give it away to America, to Trump. What the Venezuelans should have been doing is destroying these oil fields. So make it extremely expensive for the United States to steal their oil. If Venezuelans are not going to have it, then don't let Americans have it. Just destroy the oil fields. Make it tough for the Americans to steal your stuff. But no, you guys are just sitting there letting America steal your wealth. You might as well just let them steal everything. Let them steal your children as well. Anyway, guys, let's move on. So Donald Trump has been sending out more tweets. He says, from this point forward, at any time the Islamic Republic of Iran shoots a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, whether it's by missile, rocket, drone, or any other device or weapon, the United States will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant, including those located next to the capital city of Tehran. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So here's the thing, guys. If United States and Trump send ships through the strait, near Oman, for example, they will be shot at. They will be. They're not going to go through for free. And if America does stop destroying bridges and power plants, what do you think will happen to the Gulf nations? Same thing. And these Gulf countries pay Trump a lot of money, like Qatar, and stupidly Qatar gave Trump 400 million worth of a jet. They give Trump, protection money, but is Trump protecting them? I don't think so. I think what the Gulf countries need to do is come together, like they did back in the day, when King Faisal did the oil embargo against the West, and all the Arab countries, Gulf countries came together and did it together. That's what these Arab countries need to do, and kick out all Americans from their base, stop protecting them. What do you think America's going to do? Start attacking the Gulf countries as well? Grow some balls, guys. America's not going to attack the Gulf countries. They are getting these Gulf countries destroyed by Iran. Israel would love for all these Gulf countries to be destroyed, because that would mean Israel can do their Greater Israel project without much resistance. These Gulf countries are so ridiculously low IQ. They just destroying themselves one by one. For example, they know Jordan's next after Lebanon, but they're still helping Israel. They know Syria's next, and they're helping Israel now. Saudi Arabia's next, because half of Saudi Arabia is going to be taken by the Great Israel Project. And again, they are helping Israel and the United States. It's time all these Gulf countries come together and do something. Maybe do like an oil embargo against the West again. What they're going to do when the oil prices shoots up and the gas prices in America, triples, quadruples, they're not going to start bombing you guys. They will start to negotiate for peace to get things back to normal. This is why I think that the Gulf Arabs, the Gulf leaders, they just have no brains, no forward thinking, no leadership, just a bunch of puppets. Finally, I see this story coming up on the news. It's coming up on all the Western papers, Wall Street Journal, Financial Times, everything, everywhere. The fact is, US, they said they will allow Saudi Arabia to basically increase enrichment in their civilian use programs. I really doubt if this story is true, guys. I don't think they agreed to anything. Do you really think Israel will allow Saudi Arabia to enrich their civilian use programs to a high grade, like a weapons grade? I don't think so. They wouldn't even allow it to go up to 50%, let alone 90%. So I doubt if this story is true at all. Maybe it's something that Trump has told MBS. But Trump always lies. He says one thing, and one day later he changes his mind again. There's probably something Trump promised MBS. He goes, oh yeah, you can do this. Don't worry. Leave it with me. I'll sort it out. A few days later, Trump is like, I never agreed to that. Who told you that? And MBS is like, you did, sir. No, I did not. Trump would just deny it. He said, I didn't say that. Anybody that believes Trump's word is an idiot. Sorry to say. Absolute idiot. I don't even remember when Trump spoke the truth, because everything he says is just a lie after lie after lie. He never speaks the truth, not even Not even once. I don't even remember the last time he spoke the truth, guys. Must have been a long time ago. It's crazy. Anyway, that's the end of the show. Make sure you check out part 2 on the new channel. And I'll see you shortly. Take care for now. Bye-bye.